Welcome. Good to
Hello.
see you.
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. Cheers. Happy Friday.
Cheers,
Oh,
mate.
this beers can't see no way. No advertising. No advertising. But
No, yeah.
happy Friday. Drink responsibly, please. Drink responsibly.
Obviously.
Lockdown. So, good to see you. It's been a while, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has, yeah. It's good to see you've not changed a bit.
Oh, thanks. No, same to you. I mean, we have kept in touch. I do tend to drop in every now and again and see how you've been getting on,
Yeah.
especially through uni and stuff. But it has obviously been a while that we spent more than sort of 5 minutes chatting
Yeah, sure.
and
Yeah.
stuff. So this is so it'll be good to catch up. So how's things been?
Yeah, I mean, given circumstances, which I'm sure everyone's in the same boat with at the moment, but like, yeah, I mean, I've been in my job like 6 months now, cracking on really well, and trying to stay positive, I suppose, in the in the given circumstances. But yeah, I'm doing all right.
Yeah, I mean the lockdowns, I suppose, affecting quite a lot of people, and especially if
Yeah.
you've just started out in your new job, because you've not been in your new job very long, have you?
No, I started at the very, very start of November, so I've not been there long at all. And then obviously we had Christmas off, so actually face-to-face time with them, I've not actually had that much training. But they've been really good in terms of like setting me up, and they've obviously, like I said, they've given me all the kit to get going with, and they've been really good.
Oh, that's good. I mean, it's a bit of a weird setup, really, I suppose, because leaving from uni and then coming into your first job, and you're all set up to crack on and be all sociable with your workmates and stuff like that, and then obviously this happens, and now
Yeah.
you clamp down in your house, and it's all through virtual face to face sort of thing. It's a
Yeah,
bit
it's weird.
odd.
It's weird, but I think I mean, I've been working from home now since like March the 18th,
Mm.
and it's been a long month. Like the month that I've been home feels like a year. But I mean, you've just got to crack on with it. There's nothing you can't sit and moan, you can't sit and cry. You've just got to get
No.
on with it.
You just got to try and adapt and get on with it, and hopefully get something out of it at the end. Be a bit different for you, but
Yeah,
it does help with certain aspects of it, I suppose. Um, so you started the job in November.
yeah, about
Um,
end of October, start of November. Yeah.
yeah, did that take much time? Was you looking for long? I know we spoke briefly on your turn.
Yeah. I mean, gosh, I graduated in July 2019. But I got my grade in like June, July. So as soon as I got my grade and I knew what I'd got,
Yeah,
updated my CV straight away, and was applying to jobs. And I mean, I got quite a few interviews and I got accepted into a few places, but they were all like down south. It was like London, Bristol, and I just, even though I'd got the jobs, I was kind of like, it's too far away. It's too
you're a
far
bit of
away
a
from
home
me.
bird, aren't you?
Yeah. So I mean, I wouldn't have lasted 2 minutes down there. So I just thought, I really appreciate your time, but I just couldn't do it. And then I found the job where I'm at now, and a bit of a nervous driver. So I thought, oh, I don't think I'll manage this one either. But then I got the interview and got in the place, and I was like, I knew that was the job like straight away. I was like, this is where I belong straight away. And there was about 4 of us that went for the interview, and they said they'd seen me like second, I believe, and they said after me, even after seeing the other 2 people, they were like, it was always going to be you.
Oh,
So
that's really
they
good.
were very nice.
That's nice to hear, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Really encouraging. Right, let's take it back then, because we'll come into what your job is, because it'll all feed in and sort of explain itself. Let's go back to the beginning, right? Where did you go to school? Where was your high school?
Well, I went to St Elred's and it got knocked down.
Why?
So
What did you do?
I started year 9 in Hope Academy.
Yeah, and how was
Um,
that?
well, I'd moved going into my options, and I didn't actually take IT or anything like that. Like at the time, it wasn't a thing I was interested in. And I'd got chatting, you know, I'd obviously made new friends there, and I got chatting and started getting into like gaming and stuff. And obviously in a high school that wasn't an option, so I started going down the artistic route instead, and I took like fine art, and I knew that it wasn't quite what I wanted to do, so I had a bit of a tough time trying to find out, because obviously in year 10, 11 they're like, what college do you want to go to, what do you want to do, and I was like, I don't know. I didn't have a clue. So honestly,
you had no indication of what you wanted to do.
No, I did not have the slightest clue. It was only the fact that I'd kind of, when I'd come to the college, you know, looking around the colleges, and they were like, what are you interested in, you know, what do you do? And I was like, I don't know. I was like, there's just nothing that, you know, was popping out to me. Like, I was actually on course to go and do music at uni, because I was, you know, I played an instrument and stuff, and it was music, really. So I took a really big turn, I think. I played the clarinet, sadly.
Oh, that's well worth
yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah, that's what I mean. So I gave that one up. I can still play.
Have you?
I can still play, but not probably not as good as I should. But yeah, I gave that up out of.
Not going to ask you to crack it out. Don't worry. I'm going to ask you to.
No, yeah, forget that.
So no real idea on what you wanted to do, and I suppose it was kind of like, okay, let's have a look at these open days and go and see what's happening. And you said you looked at a couple of colleges, right?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I went around a few.
Yeah. Did you go with friends, or was it kind of like off your own back, or did you go with your
mum? I went to a few on my own, and then I came to a couple with friends, because I kind of wanted to stick with someone from high school, because I knew someone, like every person out of my friendship group was going somewhere else. So I was like, no matter where I go, I'm going to get in with someone. So
yeah. And so obviously you picked us. So what was it? What started it off?
Well, I mean, the course that I was on in Priestley was the most free, I don't know if that's the right word, like free course to, like, you could go in and it was kind of like, these are your options, but you can go off, and if you want to do that, if you want to be a coder, if you want to make games, great. If you want to do concept art and do more of the artistic route, great. And it was, a lot of the other colleges were like, if you can't do this, you're not getting in, because obviously, you know me, that I wasn't one of the best coders and it wasn't my thing, but I was given the option to do something else, which no one else, everyone else was like, you've got to do it, if you don't get it, tough. But with Priestley, you were given a big tree of options to get on with, which to me was important.
And that obviously sort of like attracted you to that point then. Did you come with friends, or were you on your own?
I actually came to see Priestley a couple of times. I came on my own twice, just to like get the building, and just get like the open day stuff, and then I came into the games room.
Yeah.
With one of my friends.
The games room.
See, what is it? Room 19. I've always forgotten.
228. But you were pre-rock, weren't you? You're the pre-rock.
Yes.
Rock wasn't, or cut out wasn't there back then.
No, he wasn't. No.
So, on your course at the time, did you know anybody? Or were you on your own?
Yeah. Someone from high school came in with me. But she, Ellie, she ended up moving to IT, because she was the like proper coder. Like, she was really good at.
Yeah. Within a few weeks.
Yeah. That's who I came in with initially. But then I was on my own then, but I was never on my own in CGD.
Never on your own. So you didn't take settle in then with everybody.
No, it's great set of people, great set of tutors, and settled it like family really quickly.
Brilliant. So obviously, because we do quite a diverse, different aspects of games, and so like you mentioned, we looked at coding, we looked at the art aspect, concept, and we design. What was your least favourite? What was it?
It had to be the coding aspects, it just wasn't me.
Which wasn't you?
I just couldn't. Just wasn't. I mean, the end product, don't get me wrong, was fantastic. Like putting in just some words, and you'd ended up with like a moving car, and it'd be like fabulous. But the actual getting it and understanding it, unfortunately, wasn't me.
And did that put you off?
Um, No, it didn't, because I knew that the help was there, and I wasn't on me. It wasn't a kind of end all thing. It was you'd get the help, and it was only one of the smaller modules, and I knew that what really mattered in the end was the final major project, which was obviously your own choice. So
And obviously you went down that more sort of art side. Did you know that you, because the end result was obviously you went into animation. Did you know then at that point going in that animation was something that you wanted to do? So we're talking about year one, really. We're not in year two yet. But let's think about year one. So in year one, did you know that it was animation that you wanted to get into, or?
no, not at all. No, in year one I was goodness me. In year one it was kind of, I was more into the modelling, and obviously we'd
Yeah.
got people from the uni that I've been to, well, the uni that I studied at, tutors from game design from that uni came in and gave us talks and stuff,
That's right. So
and I was
you
kind of
went
like,
to
yeah,
UCAN, didn't you?
I did, yeah.
Yeah. So let me say, it'll have been Bev Bush,
Fair
was it?
bush, yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. So
yeah,
I'm with you.
definitely, yeah.
So at that point, you knew kind of like this was kind of sort of the thing that you wanted to do. And so did that then sort of drive you as going into your second year? Was that something that inspired you a little bit more going into second year?
Um, honestly, I just kind of took it as it came, really, with the course, because I had some projects that I really really liked, and I thought, yeah, I'm gonna do that. Like we did modelling projects, and I was like, yeah, great, love it. I'm gonna stick with games design, because I knew that there was courses available where you could just do the modelling and you could just do the VFX. So I thought about that for a long time. It was only really when the FMP came about that I really was like, yeah, I think I'm going to go down animation instead.
Yeah. Oh, cool. So if you go back to sort of like in that first year, especially,
Yeah.
we dipped into a couple of things. And what project did you think that you felt was one of the pieces that made you realise actually this is the kind of area that I wanted to go into? Maybe was there something that you did in that first year that made you realise that like digital creative sort of industry was maybe the thing that you wanted to do? Was there anything that sort of stood out for you at that point?
Honestly, and I'm hoping this is first year. It was the characters project. It was creating something from scratch, drawing it, colouring it, painting it, and then animating it into it. Like we did like a little animated sprite into a game, and I was like, yeah, I can do this. Like that because obviously, the confidence levels for me coming in were quite low.
Yeah,
So I think that was the turning point for me, where I was kind of like, yeah, I can do it, because obviously I was coming into the college not having any previous experience with games, drawing, anything like that, and I just kind of came in and I was like, I'm out my depth here. And then I did that project and I was kind of like, no, actually I can do it. So I think it was around about that characters project.
yeah. So moving into the second year, this is where it changes now, because we start thinking about progression, don't we? And we're start kind of like,
Yeah,
okay, we're gonna have to make some real big decisions. It's
yeah,
kind of like, are we gonna go to uni?
yeah,
we're gonna go look for a job?
yeah,
Are we gonna put ourselves out there? Are we gonna move away from home? And I know, like yourself, like you said, there was confidence issues there, and there was things like, as with most students, there's all kinds of stuff that goes on in that we, we it affects our decisions as we're moving forward.
yeah, Yeah.
Did you feel like at that point in time, was it? How did you feel? Was it a stressful experience trying to figure out what you wanted to do?
Yeah, in terms of like, I was, when I'd finished my first year at Priestley, I was adamant I was not going to uni. I was like, there is no chance. I was looking at like apprenticeships, or just because obviously I had a part-time job at the time, and I was kind of just like, I'll do that until I figure it out. I was like, I had no confidence at all that I was going to go to uni.
Yeah, yeah. And then obviously we set that off. But you know, in the as the group as a whole, did it
Yeah,
happen that everybody was thinking of the was in that same boat? Like, because there was quite a few of you that was kind of like, should, are we
yeah,
going to do it? Like in your year group, like you stayed relatively close, but this
yeah,
was
yeah,
the first year group that I think we had the Falmouth lot go. So
yeah, yeah,
students that like went down to Falmouth, which was the furthest away that any of our students had gone at that point.
yeah, yeah.
Um, so you know, you were all sort of looking at that point where we were moving around. And how was that sort of? How did you feel like that was in the group at the time? Did you was you talking about where you were going to go? Were you?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of us wanted to go, and I myself actually, when everyone started to talk about Falmouth, I flew down. We got a flight down, and I was like, yeah, yeah, Falmouth, great, love it. And I kind of, once I'd started going to see the unis, and everyone else was talking about it, and having all these open days, I was like, oh, maybe open your mind about it a little bit. But I think I think with our group, it was more of a healthy competition thing. Like, everyone was always trying to one up each other. So it was, if
Yeah.
you're going to uni, I've got to go. So I think it was more of a, you didn't want to let the side down, really.
There was that in the group, wasn't there? There was like
It
all
was,
really healthy sort of competition.
yeah. It was never malicious, and it was never anything. In fact, it was something that made me do my work. Because if you saw someone was doing more than you, like, well, I'm going to do more than you then. So I think it was honestly that group ethic that got me to uni, really.
Are you still in contact with them?
Yes, not everyone, but I am still in contact with quite a few people, and they're all still the same.
Yeah, all still the same. So who do you think you speak to the most?
Alicia,
Should we
definitely
shout
Alicia.
out Alicia? I saw Alicia the other week.
Did you?
Yeah, I did actually. I'm not going to say what she said to me. No, I will. I saw her the other week. I was in Warrington, Warrington Town Centre. Dropped me a car off at MOT, and she was walking through the Cockhead Centre, or as we call it, the Cockend Centre.
Okay, yeah.
and and she was walking through there, and anyway she bumped into me and so I was asking her
Oh,
what she was doing, and she told me about a current job, which
nice.
okay, you don't know what a current job is.
I do know,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, I did, which was highly amusing and a really
Yeah,
difficult conversation to have.
yeah, yeah,
So, but again, it was really good to see her, and it was really good to kind of like catch up and stuff. And that's always
yeah,
something that I find is really good about everybody
yeah,
within the groups. Is like there's quite a few people in your year group that have gone different ways and done different
yeah,
things.
yeah,
Um, but you're like the latest year group to go in and get jobs now. You're the latest,
yeah,
and so we're seeing them going in and finding the careers that they wanted to do.
yeah.
If you think back to that group, can you give me a memorable tale?
Oh gosh, there's so many.
It's not
um,
going to get me the sack, right? And it's not going to humiliate too many people, although if it's reachable, all right. So, yeah.
um, oh, I've got to say, and I don't know who's gonna remember this, but it's got to be, we were playing the Imperial March by Star Wars at like top whack volume on your speakers, and then Rachel opens the door and just starts walking in, and we're all just like, as she's walking into this Imperial March, and just the room went dead, and it was really embarrassing, but it was really funny.
I think a lot of people will relate to that, to be honest. Because obviously you had a range of different tutors, and we all kind of fear Rachel a little bit. Even I fear Rachel a little bit. So it's kind of, and she knows that as well. She's got a good sense of humour to kind of understand that is. But we all kind of feared a bit of Rachel every now and again.
We did, we had a bit of back burner fear for her, yeah.
But especially if you try to do any kind of artwork.
Any art, not got a chance.
Not got a chance. So then you picked UCLan, didn't you?
I did, yeah.
So what was it about UCLan that made it the one?
I think again for me it was because I must have gone around to about 10 different unis, and again with UCLan it was the options that you could have. Like with a lot of unis, it was like in your first year you will learn this and you will go on to do this, and that's all you will do. But with UCLan it was like your first year, try whatever you want, do what you want, see what you like, move up, progress in the second and third year, and everyone else was just kind of, you know, this is what we use, this is what you will use, and that's it. And for me it was just because if you didn't like that, you stuck there then, and it was kind of, for me, I needed that freedom to kind of go, well, actually, no, I don't like that, so I'm going to go off on my own and do something else, and that's what I ended up doing. So. And
did you, when you first went up there, and did you have to do an interview when you went?
Yeah, I went to the initial, I must have visited UCLan like 4 times. I went for the initial open day just to get the campus in the area. And then I'd actually had like it wasn't an interview, but I'd had like a one-on-one tour with what would have been my tutor. And then the third time was the official interview. Yeah.
And did you feel like you were prepared? Was it something that you were ready to do?
In terms of, I mean, portfolio-wise, like no, because I was going into an animation course with little to no animation whatsoever. I mean, obviously I did that tiny bit of animation at the end of my FMP, but that was it. So all I could rely on was my artistic skills, really. So I was quite nervous, really.
It's interesting because obviously we are a games course, and then you go and do animation, which was specific, and it wasn't game animation. Like it was animation. It was like different aspects of that. So to go into that course from a games course, you didn't necessarily have examples of work to
no, I didn't
show off.
No, again, I felt I'm coming in exactly like I did coming into college. I felt out of my depth again, but I was kind of like, for me, and this is ups to your course, a lot of uni courses were below the course as it stands at Priestley now. Like it was a lot of repetitiveness, and it was like, I've just spent 2 years doing that, and a lot of courses for me in uni, games design wise, were nowhere near on par with what you offered as a college.
Well, that's nice to hear, I suppose.
Yeah, definitely.
It's definitely something that we wanted to do, especially because like we knew that you guys could do it more than anything. It wasn't driven by me, it was driven by what you guys wanted to do. The moment that you kind of come into the room and it's, we give you an idea or a task, or we give you a project or whatever it is that we decided to do that day, usually 5 minutes before I come into the classroom. But you guys took it and did really well with it. You'd run with it, and so more about sort of the standard of the students and you guys that are coming in and pushing it that made us do as much as we did. But going into doing animation and something completely different, I suppose it mimicked that first feeling that you had coming to Priestley.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
So essentially you were prepared for that. So
I mean, I knew the feeling and I knew what I was going into, but I think deep down I knew with the grade that I'd got from Priestley, I knew that even though I didn't really have that animation background, that I had a high enough grade to go in and learn, because it was the learning that they were bothered about really more than anything.
And you basically got stuck straight in with that, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, got straight in. Yeah.
Were they supportive? Did they drive you? Yeah.
Honestly, I know, yeah, my uni tutors are gonna kill me now. Honestly, no, we really did not get the support that we deserved.
Well, how did you manage, Meg? What did you?
Honestly, I mean, being honest, at the end of my first year, like I was like, I'm dropping out. I'm not doing it. Like I was so ready to come out, because I was just like, this cannot be what I'm paying for. Like, this is not what it's supposed to be.
I know you were really conscious about money as well. You've always been conscious about money.
Yeah.
Like, it is expensive, and being a student is expensive. And I know that you struggled with aspects of that. So that decision to drop out, what stopped you from doing it?
It was more, I'd kind of gone through I'd done the first year, and I was kind of like, well, I can either come out now and get into a job that I don't like, because I'm obviously not going to get into an industry job as a first year dropout kind of thing. And I just kind of put it down to, because I obviously had a couple of like life problems at the time as well, so I had a few things clashing with me, which everyone does, which is fair enough.
Well, everybody's life problems are specific to them and circumstances. So I'm not downplaying that aspect of it, but you have to deal with that, and obviously that was a factor in it.
It was a big factor for me personally, and I in the end, I'd kind of just put it down to, you've had a tough year, go into your second year and start again. Just, start again. And that was what I did.
And did that feel good then, going into that second year? Did you feel motivated?
I mean, not gonna lie, I did not, grades wise, I did not do very well in my first year, because I'd kind of took time out, because I was just so overwhelmed by everything. I just took the time out, so I dropped a couple of points really, So I was kind of going into it I still kind of went into my second year going, I still don't think it's for me, because obviously everyone had that time. By the end of the first year, everyone had not mastered the software, but they'd figured out where they wanted to be, what software they could use, they could do it. And I wasn't. I was like one of the only ones in the class that was like, I still don't know. So I did go into it was only, I'd say, towards the back end of my second year where I found the software I wanted to use, and then I was like, right, I'm in it now.
Yeah. Did you, if you could give a bit of advice about your first year to anybody, what would that be? That relates to you, maybe what you experienced, but knowing
I'd honestly say just go into it with an open mind, and you've got to kind of, which for me it was really hard, but you've kind of got to forget that there's other people around you, because you just get into this mindset of that, oh well, they're better than me, so why am I bothering, kind of thing. And I got into a really tough mindset that if I can't do it straight away, then I can't do it. And I was terrible with that attitude, and I'd say to anyone that struggles with that you've just got to really be persistent, and that a dip in progress doesn't mean that you've got to start again. It just means you'll go back up again, which I really couldn't grasp at the time. But now looking back on my first year, I'd have booted myself if I'd have dropped out, and you've kind of got to look at it.
Meg? We just don't do that, though, do we?
Yeah, well, there you go. Yeah, we carry on. But yeah, no, I'd honestly just say that the biggest thing for me is you've just got to forget about everyone around you for a second, and you've just got to focus on yourself.
Did you ever think that you would have done it? Did you ever think that you were going, like, that first day that you came to us, having a look round, did you ever think that you were going to go to uni? Did you ever think that you were going to do animation?
No, not for a single second. Like, honestly, even coming into the course at Priestley, I was like, what am I doing? Like, don't get me wrong, it was a fantastic course, but I was coming into it still not knowing what I was going to do, because I dropped music, wasn't really a maths or English or language person, and I was kind of like, I've got to do something, and I just kind of thought, right, well, I've got into my computer games and kind of got into my arts, and I was like, well, the two married together, but I'd never imagined in a million years that I'd be sat here today in an industry job. It's mental.
Do you think like you community, like when I talk about community, I think about like the CGD community. I think about
Yeah,
like all my students, for like current students, past students, those that have been through, those that dropped out. Still, I speak to those that have dropped out in the past, and those that have done well, and those that have not gone into the industry, and they're still very much part of what we did.
oh yeah, yeah.
But do you think that like during those 2 years that was a factor in kind of keeping you going and keeping you in and keeping you on track?
Yeah, definitely. I'm speaking with the years above and the years below, and just seeing where everyone was coming from. Everyone was coming in at such different levels, and people came in knowing absolutely nothing and came out with industry jobs. And for me, it was just kind of like, oh my god, well, it is possible, because I just went in with so much disbelief that I wasn't going to get anywhere with it. But then when I actually spoke to people, in the year above, and they were like, oh, we've gone on to do this and this, and I was like, yeah, it's possible.
So uni finished, you did it,
I
right?
did it.
And what grade did you get?
I got a first class honours.
Hey, that's good. And
Yeah,
considering that you mentioned about that rough year and a half, it's like you put the work in and you get rewarded for it. And I came along to your exhibition, your degree show, and I saw your work, and it was fantastic. And I was really proud to see it and see that you did so well, and especially being somewhere on your Todd, new place, new course, new subject area, essentially, and doing exceptionally well. And then obviously it finishes, and it's kind of like,
yeah,
what am I doing now?
yeah. Oh yeah, before you've even got a chance to get into it and enjoy it, it's over.
So did the fear start kicking in about, oh my god, I've got to start earning a living?
I think the fear really got to me at like gosh, what were we in 2020? About January 2019, and I was coming into my final semester, and I was just kind of like, oh my god, like it's Nick, because we finished like really early. We finished in like April, and obviously there was February half term and reading week, so we actually only had about 6 weeks left of tutoring time. And at that point I was and I didn't have it, I'd quit my job to focus on uni.
So was money tight?
Yeah, it was really tight, really hard, really tight, and I just kind of was like, I've not done all this to end up back where I started, so I really started panicking then.
Your mum's a really important part of your life.
Yeah.
And obviously, moving away, taking the risks that you took to do. How does she feel about it all?
She was, no matter what I did, she was always, I'll support you no matter what you want to do. If you want to leave and do something else, do it, but just think about it in 5 years' time. Are you going to look back at it and are you going to go, what the hell did I do that for? Because with me, I get really stroppy, and I'm kind of like, if I don't get it straight away or I can't do it, I'm like, oh, I'm not doing it then. And it's such a bad trait to have, and I'm still working hard to get over it. But with my mum, it was, I'd kind of got so far into the course that I was like, I've got to prove to her now that I can do it.
Yeah. And now you have. So she must be incredibly proud.
She's absolutely over the moon with me. I've gone from having a complete life crisis at 18, and at 18 years old, I was like, don't care. I was in such a bad attitude. I was like, I don't care. I was like, I'm not going to go to uni. I'm going to work in retail and get over it. And now I'm 22. I've got a mortgage. And I've got an industry job, and I'd just go back and batter my 18-year-old self for being so negative about it.
You wouldn't be where you are now.
No, I would not. If it wasn't.
It's a really important factor in growing up and understanding who you are and what you're capable of. If you haven't have had those mini crises, and I'll say because there are, you would not have been where you
Not
are.
at all. Not at all.
If you get through that, you can get through other things.
Yeah, definitely.
The biggest stress leaving us was the fact that you were going to be so many £1,000s in debt through student loan, and moving away from home when really you need to be close to your mom, and all those things, to where you are now, and you've got a job, bought your first house, and you're in the place that you aspired to be, and what you want to do. You've made the right choices, and you dealt with the crisis.
Could have never dreamed it in a million years, but it really is. Like, I still do it today. Like, I'll have a project in work and I'll be like, I just can't do it. Like, there's something that I can't wrap my head around. But then something will come up that, like, on my memories, on all the social medias of something that I did 2 years ago, and I'll look at it and I'm like, oh Meg, that was terrible. And then I'll look at what I've done now and I'm like, Christ, look how far you've come. And each time, each year, each month, you realise that. I think the biggest thing, another piece of advice, would be to constantly look back on the work that you've done, because I was kind of sitting here the other day going, I'm just not getting anywhere. Like, I've been in this job and I've done uni and I feel like I haven't got anywhere. But then I'd actually looked back at one of my uni projects and I was like, if I did that again now, it'd look a million times better. So I have progressed.
I think it's massively important for people to look back at where they've come from. I
Yeah.
think sometimes we get lost in it and get lost in the work that we're doing, and seeing that you can progress and how well you've progressed. I think it's really important to do that, and seeing that you're doing that is just, it is encouraging, and it's a good piece of advice. We need to tell people to look back at where they've come and not judge themselves too harshly as well.
You're your own worst critic.
Very easy to judge ourselves and judge ourselves against other people's work. We're individuals, and we've got our own goals and our own targets that we want to meet.
Yeah.
So the company you work for, is it good?
They are incredible. I love them with all my heart. It's about a group of 30 of us. And there's people like me that have just graduated from uni. There's people that have been there for 15 years, but you wouldn't know it. It's like you kind of come in and you just get accepted like that, and it's like I've been there for years.
Was you scared?
I was petrified. Absolutely. I remember coming in on my first day.
Yeah.
And everyone, one of the first questions I got asked was, where were you before this? And I think they were expecting me to say, kind of like another industry place. And I was like, I worked in retail. I was like, I used to be a checkout girl in retail. And they laughed at me, and I was like, no, I'm being serious. So I was like, I graduated like a few months ago, and they were like, oh, right. And it was kind of like they were expecting, maybe someone with not more experience, because obviously I'd got the job, but I think everyone in there wasn't expecting such like fresh.
Was on then? Did you feel like the pressure was on?
Yeah, because a lot of them straight away said like how incredible it was that I'd graduated literally 2 months ago, and they were like, how have you found a job like so quickly? Like, they were all really like it's such a wit, because it's not uncommon, but usually it does take like a year for someone to kind of
into the industry. It's not. I think I'm not going to say that you're incredibly lucky, because I don't think it's that. I think you make your own luck. I think that it's warranted that you got the job that you got, because you're very good at what you do. So it's not necessarily about luck, but it is hard to break into the industry, whether it's in games or
I had a lot of kick down. Yeah, definitely.
So you got the job because you were right for it, and the work pays off. So it's really good to see that you've been able to move all that way from a point where you had no idea what you wanted to do, with no understanding of what it is that you wanted to do.
Yeah.
You've gone through a college, you've gone through a school, you've gone through a college, you've gone through uni, with different sort of situations happening and different times where you felt like it was something or nothing, or something that you might be dropping out, and then finally you get to your job and things like, actually, this is right, this is cool, this is what I want to do. And we're sat here having a chat, and one of the things I said to you the other day when we had a little pre conversation about what we're doing was like, oh, look at that, you set up in a little office in your house.
Yeah.
I've got to make some kind of virtual office, because like I'm just not having that. But we look around and you've got all your reference material up on the wall.
I got my Lowry up.
Your Lowry up there, I love the Lowry, and you've got the Lowry up there. It's these are the things and the methods that you've put into play to help you do your job and the practices that you make, and it's a beautiful thing. It's really good to see, and I'm so happy to see that you found a job that you really like, a career that you really like, and like anything's open for you now. So goals are the next things to think about. Meg, I'm really pleased for you. I want to thank you for doing this and
no, not at all.
Speaking to you. And obviously, at some point, you do know I'm tapping you up, and I expect you to do some talks and stuff.
Oh yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready to come in. I'll scare him.
You don't need scaring. We've got the Darth Vader march for that, We don't need scaring. But no, I really appreciate you spending the time to talk to you.
No, it's been nice talking. It really, even this alone has made me look back on the past 5 years and go, Christ, Meg, like you did it. Oh my God, it's gone from zero to here. It's mental how.
Yeah, very quick, and it does go quick, right?
Uni went by like that. But I mean, as much as I had such a hard time in uni, I'd do it all over again. I'd do it again.
Just remind me, what was your graduating year? Can you remember?
For college, or 2014 to 2016.
2016.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, because uni was 16 to 19. So yeah.
That's right. Yeah, I thought it was 2016.
See, that just when you say 2016, that just sounds like.
I know, it's mad. That's how fast it goes. So you've gone from within 4 years, getting your degree and going into and getting your job and buying a house.
Yeah, honestly, I'd never ever. If you'd have asked me at 18, where you're going to be in 5 years' time, I'd have still been working in retail. I would never have dreamed for a million years that I'd have my own house, my own job, my own car. I'm on a salary, and it's just for anyone that thinks they can't do it, you can. If I can, anyone can.
That's brilliant. Meg, lockdown chat, pleasure. Cheers. Friday.
Cheers.
Cheers. Friday.
Cheers. Have a nice weekend.
And we'll speak again soon.
Yes, speak again.
Take care. Bye-bye.
See ya.